Hi, my name is Jen. Welcome to Pilates in a Flash. This is your 30-minute intense Pilates workout. Today we're going to need a pillow as a prop, and I'm upgrading this week because I ate my beans last week. So this week I'm going to use spaghetti sauce, but with extreme caution that I don't break the jar while we're doing this, okay? So I'm going to use 2 jars of spaghetti sauce, which is a little bit heavier than the beans. If you don't want to use hand weights, you don't have to. If you have your own hand weights at home, either the balls or the dumbbells, you can use those. They need to be 1 pound, 2 pound, or 3 pound weights. Make sure your space around you is cleared out and that it's safe, and always take the class at your own pace. Today we're going to start down on our back, so I'm going to just move the pillow out of the way along with the sauce gently and come on down. Taking in a big, nice, deep breath once you're down on the mat. Okay, breathing into your rib cage, filling out the ribs left and right, letting the air out of the mouth with a nice big sigh. Just feeling your spine on the mat, a little curve in your low back and your pelvis. So I'm looking for a neutral pelvis. Breathe in and let the air go out of the mouth. Ribs between the shoulder blades are starting to sink down towards the mat. And so we're connecting into this neutral spine and neutral pelvis position. We're going to bring our hands up, clap the hands together, and we're going to rock our rib cage a little to the right, back to center, and then a little to the left, back to center. All the while we're breathing in nice and deep. Our eyes can be closed. Shoulders away from the ears. Think about sinking those arm bones down towards the floor a little so they're not reaching for the ceiling. And the hips and knees don't move, it's just the rib cage. So you might not go very far, and that's fine. Okay? All right, one more to the right. Breathe in. One more to the left. Good. Arms come down by our side. We're going to move our pelvis, so we're just going to think about tipping our pelvis a little towards the mat and a little away from the mat. Just moving our pelvis really gently. Okay. Breathing in, focusing on moving from our pubic bone or our tailbone. And the little curve in our low back gets a little bit bigger and a little bit smaller. And you might feel this up the chain, right? As I move my pelvis, my spine moves, my chin nods a little bit. That's fine, it's all connected. Making sure we're not shoving our low back into the ground to move our pelvis, okay? So we're not really moving from our low back. We're thinking about moving right from our pubic bone or our tailbone. 2 more, just tip a little one direction, then the other. 1 more, excellent. So I'm going to level my pelvis, shoulders away from the ears, ribs down on the mat, still have a little curve, working on getting those low ribs down towards the mat. And immediately I think about pulling my low ribs down. My abdominals are on, my obliques are on to help me move my low ribs down. That still means that I have a little curve, so there's a little space between my low back and the mat. My pelvis is level. I'm going to bring my right leg into tabletop, left leg into tabletop, right leg down, left leg down. Breathing in. Filling out the space between my shoulder blades. Nice big deep breath in to keep the ribs down on the ground. So we're continuing, one up, then the opposite leg, then we put it opposite leg down and down. So up, up, down, down. Bring the leg into that tabletop position. Pulling slowly and gradually down on my abdominals and thinking about bringing my belly button down towards the spine as well. Okay, we're going to go for 3, lift up, up, down, down. There's no change in the bend in the knee, right? So the knee doesn't change shape. We don't lower the calf towards the back of the thigh. We're going to do 1 more set here. Up, up, down, down. We're going to bring our legs right into tabletop. We're going to dangle our feet down to the back of thighs. I'm going to pause for a second and bring my pelvis back into that neutral position. Bring my rib cage down. I'm going to lift and lower my feet. So we're just working through ankles here. So lifting and lowering through our feet, but we're still engaging through our core to hold that neutral spine and pelvis with our legs in tabletop. Right now I need to send my knees away just a smidge, but my pelvis doesn't move. So the arc in the low back doesn't get any bigger. Continually pulling down towards the mat, supporting that little curve. And I'm just gonna pick up the pace. So I'm gonna lift and lower my feet a little bit quicker, lifting the tops of feet all the way up towards the shins and down. Feeling for the shins working, but also feeling for my core engaging to keep my feet and my legs in this position. Good. We're gonna go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna open and close in circles, circling the feet away from each other, down and around, down and around. Okay, feeling again for shins and tops of feet, connecting to the low belly and belly button, keeping the ribs down on the mat. Breathing in and opposite direction. So now we're going to bring our feet in towards each other. One circle might be more like a square, so my left foot is doing a triangle. That's fine. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feet together, knees together. Point the toes, bring the legs to back of thighs a little bit. I'm going to tap my toes down and lift them up. Tap my toes down and lift them up. So it's a really small double toe tap here, sending the thigh bones away from me just a smidge, feeling that engagement through my abdominals. I'm going to switch and I'm going to go heels down and back up. So heels are a little bit of further distance than the toes. Breathing in and out. Low belly in, pelvis stays still. For 2 more. Excellent. 1 more. Good. Lifting the legs up into tabletop and then lowering them down. So I'm going to keep my feet pointed. Okay, I'm going to envision that there's weights on my shins as I lift my shins up towards the ceiling. For 5, slowly lift. For 4, as if there's weights, feel more connection to the low belly. Okay, for 3, belly button pulls down. For 2, 1 more. Lift into tabletop, pause. I'm going to open my right leg to the right a little, close. I'm going to open my left leg and then close. Open my right leg, anchor my left sit bone, open my left leg, anchor my right sit bone. So starting to find that diagonal connection, right? So thinking about the left sit bone anchoring when that right leg opens for 3, then doing the opposite for 2. 1 more, open and close. Good. Feet come down to the mat. Excellent. So with our feet all nice and warmed up, I'm going to grab the pillow, put it between my inner thighs. Squeeze the pillow, gently push into feet, lift my pelvis up towards the ceiling and lower on down. Lift and lower. I'm going to add some arms. So I'm going to lift my pelvis straight up and my arms come up towards the ceiling and then down. Lifting and lowering the arms. Pushing in through the tops of shoulders and feet as my anchor point. Okay? And then giving that pillow just a tiny little squeeze at the top with my inner thighs. Okay, connecting a little more to my glutes here to make sure that my pelvis doesn't tip as I lift it up towards the ceiling. We're going to go for 3, for 2, squeeze the pillow. 1, you're going to hold it up here. You're going to come halfway down and up, halfway down and up, halfway down and up. Arms stay up, okay? Belly button pulls down towards the spine, low belly in. For 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. We're going to squeeze the pillow a little bit and release. Squeeze the pillow, release. For 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. We're going to articulate our spine down, 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 down towards the mat, and then bring our pelvis straight back up. Articulating our spine down vertebrae by vertebrae as we go. Okay, having the pelvis be the last thing to touch down. Lift up, articulate down. 1 more. Push into feet, lift up, squeeze the bum cheeks together. Okay, slowly bring that spine down towards the mat, pelvis lands down. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to keep the pillow in between my inner thighs. I'm going to grab my spaghetti sauce and hope that I don't take a shower. That would be probably the world's best Pilates video and most likely the most views. Okay, so we're going to keep our hands here. I'm going to sink my arm bones down towards the mat. Shoulders away from the ears. I'm going to gently squeeze the pillow, send my arms overhead just a little bit, and then bring my hands down towards my hips. So I'm noticing that I'm keeping my spine in that nice neutral strong position. Okay, abs are on to keep my ribs from popping up. Deep breath in to make sure that the ribs between the shoulder blades are down there as well. Shoulders stay away from the ears and you're going to feel more side body. Good. I'm not going all the way to the floor behind me. It's too far for me. I start to arc my ribs, okay? My spine starts to float away from the mat. I am looking to keep my tailbone anchored, so I almost forgot about that. I'm going to keep my tailbone anchored so that my pelvis stays level and gently squeeze the inner thighs. Good. I'm going to bring my arms up, both legs into tabletop, pause. I'm going to send both legs down towards the mat and then bring them back up, okay? Anchoring down to the rib cage. It's a little harder when the arms are overhead. I cannot go all the way towards the mat without my ribs popping, so I'm only going to go halfway. Pull the belly button down towards the spine, toes tap down. Oh, I did it. Next one, last one. Then we go heels, right? Flex the feet, tap the heels down, bring the heels back up. Okay, sink the arm bones in, make sure the ribs stay down. My abs are shaking to hold my ribs down on the mat. Breathe in, pull the belly button down. Exhale, 2 more. Tap the heels, squeeze the pillow. I forgot about that pillow. Upper inner thighs working. 1 more. Excellent. Pause right here. Arms go down. Okay, weights go down gently. I'm going to bring my hands up onto my tippy fingers, the tips of my fingers, shoulders away from the ears, and I'm going to rock both legs over to the right hand side, then back to center. Breathe in, rock both legs over to the left, back to center. So I'm only moving as far as I can keep my ribs and my shoulder blades on the mat. So I'm not moving very far. I'm rocking along the back of my pelvis, keeping a little curve in my low back, pulling my belly button down to support that curve. You got 2 more. I don't care which direction we're going. I'm going to the left right here. Right ribs stay heavy. Go to the right, left ribs stay heavy. Good, centered up, feet down. Excellent. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of the pillow just for a tiny bit. Grab those weights. Legs back up into tabletop. If you don't feel comfortable in tabletop, you can always do 1 in tabletop or keep the feet down on the ground and just squeeze the pillow, okay? Legs come up, weights come up, shoulders away from the ears. I'm gonna send both weights overhead and then I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna extend one leg towards the wall in front of me, then switch. Both arms overhead, pause, extend the opposite leg, switch. Good. We're gonna go for 4. We're gonna go for 3. You cannot feel your neck, right? So your neck is not supposed to be working. If it is, shoulders down, away from the ears. Think arm bones move, but shoulders don't. Put a little bend in those elbows, fire up your biceps to help you hold the weights. And don't go as far overhead. We got 1 more leg extension here. Send it away, back to center. Good. Pause. We're gonna do doubles. Both go overhead, both extend, back to center. Tailbone anchored, ribs down. I'm already working before I send my limbs away, back to center. I'm keeping my legs on an angle up towards the ceiling. They don't have to go down low. Okay, we're gonna do 1 more. Sink the arm bones, shoulders down, extend the legs. Good, back to center. Tiny little break. Okay, we're gonna move into some glutes and some leg lifts. So you're gonna come onto your side. I'm gonna just lay down on my side here, bend my bottom leg, lift my top leg up, and lower it on down. So the top leg is straight, the bottom leg is nice and bent for stability. Okay, and then in a couple reps, I'm actually gonna lengthen out the bottom leg, which helps us challenge our core and our obliques a little bit more. If it's too much for you, you can always bend the leg again. It's no big deal, okay? So what we're feeling for is side bum and hip. What I don't want is a big rock in the hips and a smushing of my waistlines, right? I want nothing moving except for that thigh bone, okay? We're gonna go for 5. Slowly lift if you need to. It helps you focus on what muscle group we're working on. Side bum and hip to lift that leg away from the midline. Good. Low belly in, belly button towards the spine, and that oblique that's near the mat is lifted. 1 more, hold the leg up. I'm gonna extend the bottom leg, okay? Bottom leg stays extended. Top leg is lifted. Excellent. I'm gonna lift the top leg just a little bit and then lower it on down just a little bit. Lift the top leg just a little bit, lower it on down just a little bit. Bottom leg is strong too, so power up the quad to lift the kneecap. Low belly in, okay? It should feel a little wobbly on the hip, in the hip area, right? Because it's just a little bit less support, less base, or your base of support is shrunk down, okay? We got 5, halfway up and down. 4, we got 3, 2, 1. Hold the leg up. Perfect. We're going to float the leg forward, float the leg back, float the leg forward, float the leg back.
Okay, pay attention to the back, really pulling back with the hamstring and glute for 2. Really squeeze that hamstring glute, 1, and then we're gonna circle. So we're gonna circle up, around, back, and down. Up, around, back, and down. Both legs stay really long and strong. Hips stay stacked, low belly in. Okay, pull that oblique off the mat, opposite direction. So if you're going forward, now we start by going backward, up, forward, around. You can use the tips of your fingers and that top arm to help balance you. That's no problem. Okay, but really make sure the upper body doesn't move too much. Ah, okay, lower it down. Good. Shake it out. Excellent. We're going to go into hands and knees just for a second here. Into cat-cow. So breathe in, curl up, exhale. Eyes come up, tailbone goes back behind you. Make sure you don't put a big curve in that low back. Okay, just a little curve in the low back. Round, tuck the tailbone, pull up, shoulders away from the ears, crown of the head is down towards the ground, and extend. Eyes come up, the crown of the head shoots towards the wall in front of you, and your tailbone shoots back behind you. One more time. Breathe in. Exhale. Good. All we're going to do is some simple rib lifts here. So I'm just going to drop my rib cage down towards the mat and then lift it away from the mat. While I do this, I have to take notice that the low back and the tailbone doesn't change. It stays exactly where it is. So we're just thinking about moving our breastbone down towards the mat, then pulling our breastbone away from the mat as much as we can, squeezing our shoulder blades around the rib cage. As the breastbone comes down towards the mat, our shoulder blades most likely easily slide towards the spine. The hard part is for most of us is to bring the ribs away from the mat and bring the shoulder blades away from the spine. Okay, we're gonna go for 5. We're gonna go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift on up, pause. Okay, so I'm lifting my shoulder blades, I'm pulling my shoulder blades away from my spine around my rib cage and keeping my breastbone lifted. I need the shoulders to be away from my ears. I'm going to dig my toes in. I'm going to lift my knees off the mat and lower down. Lift my knees off the mat and lower down. At no point do I let my breastbone sink down towards the mat. Lift and lower for 8, 7. Keep lifting that breastbone up. Tailbone doesn't tuck under. 6. Low back stays in that nice little curve. Low belly up. We got 4. We got 3. We got 2. We got 1. Good. Tiny little break. We're going to swing around and do the opposite leg. I'm just going to move my weights out of the way. We'll use those in a tiny bit. Okay, so onto the left side, lifting and lowering the right leg. Bottom leg is bent just to start as we get kind of lined up here. Eyes forward, ears back, over the shoulders. Okay, hips stay stacked. So notice if you're kind of back, okay, if you're on an angle, stack it so that those hips are over top of each other and that bottom waist is lifted off the mat. Okay, I'm going to extend the bottom leg and I'm going to keep lifting and lowering here. So my top arm comes down just on the tips of the fingers here, shoulders away from the ears. Both legs are nice and long and strong. So the quads are on to lift the kneecaps. Okay, you can point the toe or you can flex the foot, whatever feels comfortable for you. But be mindful that that top leg isn't swiveling up towards the ceiling, okay? The knee stays facing forward and the toe stays facing forward. So that thigh bone is in a parallel position. Good, we're gonna go for 4, then we're gonna pulse, 3, 2, okay, 1, lower down, lift it up. Now halfway down and up, halfway down and up. Bottom leg, don't lose it, it's strong as well, okay? Low belly in, belly button towards the spine. Okay, halfway down and up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold it up, kick forward, hamstring, glute, kick back. Kick forward, hamstring, glute, kick back. Kick forward, hamstring, glute, kicks back. One more, then we circle. Bottom leg, don't forget about it. Sweep down, out, around. That thigh bone moves in the hip socket, but the hips don't move, especially as you lift upwards, right? So there's no crunching of the waistline. One more, make sure the hips Don't move, opposite direction. Sweep back, hamstring, glute, lift up and around, low belly in. Hips stay nice and still. 2 more to go, sweep back, hamstring, glute. Okay, lift up, side bum. 1 more, lift up, around, down, good. Excellent. Okay, back onto our hands and knees just for a second. Excellent. Okay. Breastbone up, shoulders away from the ears. Okay, from here, what you're going to do is you're going to shoot back one leg. So one leg is going to go back behind you. You're going to flex the foot. So we just did this side line. You're thinking about pulling that side bone back behind you. Okay, so I'm going to flex my foot so my heel is really driving towards the wall behind me. My leg is really long and strong. I'm going to lift this leg with my hamstring and my glute max, my big glute max, but I'm not going to move my pelvis and I'm not going to change the curve in my low back. So there's no shifting of my pelvis or my spine. So ribs up, arms are on, shoulders away from the ears. Okay, I'm going to lift that thigh bone away from the ground, my toes away from the ground, with my hamstring and my glute max, and lower down. Lift up, pelvis doesn't move, hamstring, glute lifts the thigh bone and lower down. Lift up, breastbone stays lifted, lower on down. No movement in the hips, okay? And lower down. No change in the low back. Squeeze the hamstring. Fire up the quad to straighten the leg. Squeeze the bum cheek to feel it working. Good. One more. Lower down. Lift. Slowly lift and lower. Good. Opposite one. Shake out the wrists. Leg kicks back. Shoulders away from the ears. Lift the breastbone away from the mat. Untuck the tailbone. Straighten the leg, so squeeze the quad, lift the kneecap, flex the foot, and lift that foot 1 or 2 inches off the mat. Hamstring, glute max lifts. Pelvis doesn't move, and lower. Slowly lift. Think about hamstring, glute max to lift that leg up and lower. Keep the upper back filled out between the shoulder blades. So we're not getting sloppy. We're not down here. We're up here, okay? And lower. We're going for 3. Lift that leg really slow. Think nice long leg. Okay, 2. Lift that leg. Hamstring, glute. Think about what initiates that movement. 1. Hamstring, glute. Right from the start. Lift, 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 lift. And lower. Good. Now push back into child's pose. Excellent. Shoulders away from the ears. Swinging my legs around, putting the pillow between my inner thighs. Flexing the feet. Have the weights handy. Good. Okie dokie. Sitting up nice and tall, arms are out in front. I'm going to go flat back, so I'm going to think tall, seated on the sits bones. I'm going to squeeze the pillow with my upper inner thighs. My leg bones are actually fairly close together, and so are my feet. So little squeeze, flex the feet, low belly pulls in. I'm going to hinge back, and I'm going to come up. I'm going to hinge back, and I'm going to come up. Hinge back, pause, and then I'm going to come back up. So I'm feeling for my abdominals working, right? If they're not working, pull them in a little bit more and go back just a little bit further. I'm also keeping a little curve in my low back. So I'm not losing that little curve. I'm supporting it by pulling in my belly button towards my spine and come back up. 1 more. Okay. I'm going to take both arms up towards my ears and then down towards my knees. Shoulders away from the ears. Arm bones move. Shoulders don't move, right? Shoulders stay down the whole time. Ears stay back, chin stays tucked in. Keep pulling the belly button in. Keep squeezing that pillow. Flex those feet. Okay, we're going to do 2 more. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Sit back up. We're going to add the weights, okay? If the weights are too much, you feel it in your neck, get rid of the weights. You don't need them. Okay, so we're going to sit up nice and tall. Arms are going to be in a semicircle, shoulders away from the ears. My biceps are on to help me hold and grip these weights. But I'm thinking shoulders down, and I'm also going to think fill out the back. So that back needs to be puffed out, just like that breastbone moving away from the mat in the stuff we just did with our leg lifts in our quadruped position. You want to make sure that your chest isn't forward and there's no pinching of the shoulder blades. The shoulder blades are wrapped around the rib cage. And the middle of the back is puffed out. The low back still has that little curve. Sit up nice and tall. Send that body back. Breathe in. Pull the belly button in. Okay, hinge back. You're going to open the arms a little. And you're going to close as if you're hugging someone. Open, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Close. Wrap the shoulder blades around the rib cage. Pull the belly in towards the spine. Open and close. We're doing shoulder blade motion with some weights. Arm bones can be a little bit lower. We're going for 3, 2. Make sure the ribs stay filled out at the back. 1. Sit on up. Good. Okay. Relax those shoulders. Relax the neck. Next variation. Here we go. We're going to sit up nice and tall. Pull the belly button in. Squeeze the pillows. Send the body back. Okay. I'm going to open one arm. I'm going to follow with the breastbone. And I'm going to close. I'm going to open the opposite arm. Follow with the breastbone. Close. Okay. But I'm going to make sure I'm not going to shoot my breastbone forward. I'm just trying to stay as best I can filled out to that rib cage while pulling in my belly button and my low abs. Okay, one more. Excellent. Back to center, up we come. Good. Weights down, shake it up. Almost done. Okay. Flex the feet, squeeze the pillows, sit up nice and tall. Grab the weights, hinge back, pull the belly button in, low abs in. Pause, shoulders away from the ears. Arm bones come up. Arm bones go down towards the knees. Shoulders stay down the whole time. If those shoulders stay down, you should not feel your neck. You should feel more side body, okay? Arm bones lifting. Your biceps are definitely working. Your shoulders are definitely working, that's for sure. But can you incorporate your core to really help support you? Pull the belly button in, squeeze the pillow, flex the feet. One more lift, and lower. Good, come on up. Excellent. Okay, shake out those arms. Move the weights out of the way. Pushing back into child's pose just for a second. Take a nice big deep breath in. Come on up. We're going to do last hands and knees. So now we're incorporating everything. This move is done in all classes, beginner and advanced, but it's often done pretty sloppy. And you don't feel much going on except for your neck or your shoulders. So now what we're going to do is our bird dog. So we got our leg already. Okay. I'm going to flex the foot and I'm going to put the opposite arm out in front. I'm going to lift my rib cage up away from the floor, hugging my shoulder blade on the right side around my body. And then I'm going to slowly lift my leg with my hamstring and glute and my arm, keeping my shoulder away from my ear, and then lower it on down. Lifting and lowering, but keeping my spine in that nice neutral position. So at no point does my tailbone move. No point does my spine start to slope down towards the mat. So there's none of this action going on, right? I stay lifted, I keep the little curve in my low back, and I lift and lower, okay? We're going to go for 4. Push into the right hand, left knee. Those are the limbs on the ground on the mat. 3, 2, good. 1, hold it up. I'm going to float my arm and my leg away from my center just a little bit, and then back to center. I'm talking 2 or 3 inches. Float it away, then back to center. Squeeze the bum cheek, float away. Hips don't move, it's just the thigh bone, and float away. 1 more time. Excellent. Okay, switch. Push into the left foot, the left hand, right knee. Okay, hip stays over that right knee. Leg extends back behind you nice and long. Flex the thigh to lift the kneecap. And here we go. We're going to lift the arm up and lower it down. Lift it up and lower it down. Shoulders away from the ears, breastbone up away from the floor. Good. Excellent. We're going to lift for 4. For 3. For 2. Push into the left hand, right knee. For 1. Good. Pause. Move the arm and the leg a little away from the center and then back. Shoulder away from the ear, okay? Leg is nice and long, hips don't move. Keep pulling that breastbone up. Keep pulling that belly button up. One more time. Away, back to center. Excellent. Push back into child's pose. Good. Coming up onto our knees, we're going to do a little bit of side bending. So the right arm comes up towards the ceiling. Drop the ear down. Breathe in. And switch. Left arm comes up. Right ear drops down. Breathe in. And switch. One more time. Breathe in. Opposite side. Good job. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you felt your abs and your glutes and some hips, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you again next week. Bye.